Hello, this is Photography Gamer. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm previewing ENDER Lilies, Quietus of the Night for Microsoft Windows via Steam. The game is in early access and will be getting a full release on the PlayStation, Microsoft and Nintendo platforms in the second quarter of 2021. ENDER Lilies, Quietus of the Night is a dark fantasy Metroidvania developed by Livewire and AdGlobe. You play as Lily, an angelic girl who must use the souls of defeated enemies to defend herself on her epic quest through a dark, colourful and vibrant fantasy world. So what is the game like to play? Well, control-wise, it's a streamlined and simple experience with an unfussy control system for combat and platforming. In combat, you've got 3 buttons. What those buttons do is up to you. You see, in ENDER Lilies, when you defeat a boss, you collect their soul. Then you're free to equip up to 3 souls at a time, which act as your 3 attacking options. It's a very clever system, and those annoying bosses who do your head in will eventually become your bodyguards as you venture deeper into the story. So you can potentially create endless combinations of attacks from melee, ranged or elemental strikes. Also, when you vanquish those foes, Lily will have a vision revealing information about the boss, which will help unravel the overall narrative. The game strikes a nice balance between combat and platforming, with neither one becoming too ever present. In terms of the game world, currently there are 3 distinct areas to explore, with several more due to be added prior to the release later this year. The locations are pretty varied and you'll have to survive long enough to reach respite checkpoints where you can save your progress or equip a different loadout with your available souls. So in summary, it's got a good control system, great weapon variety using vanquished souls as your bodyguards, and it's a pretty good challenge. And don't be fooled by the first hour, which is pretty easy. Enemies and bosses soon become pretty difficult, so you'll need to really bring your A game when the final game comes out, I'd say. Graphically, the game's got a really gorgeous art style that blends like dark gothic fantasy with a hint of anime. Lily is like this small angelic creature surrounded by all these demonic terrors. The locations, they're very well imagined and full of nice details, and overall it's just very easy on the eye. In terms of sound effects, there weren't any noticeable issues, with everything fitting nicely with the thematic style. One area where things were a little bit hit and miss was the musical soundtrack. The music itself is very nice, but there were times where it felt like it was just placed on top of the action without any real due care to what actually was going on at the time. So perhaps, over the course of the next few months, there'll be a bit more work on reactive music that would help improve the experience, because at the moment some of the music just feels like it's playing in the background without it really having any relevance to the action. Okay, what's good and what's bad? What's good? The art style is beautiful, the 3-button soul combat is clever and intuitive and with massive potential. It's a decent challenge with some pretty difficult sections and boss fights. The game world is enchanting and it's generally very playable. Even when you keep dying, it keeps you coming back for more. What's bad? The only issue I had was the game could do with a bit more ambient sound, and the music, although very pleasant, didn't seem to suit most of the situations. So what's the verdict? ENDER Lilies is full of promise, clever ideas and a game loop that's satisfying but also very challenging. The ability to put those defeated bosses to work as your bodyguards is a really good feature, and it's one that could potentially add almost infinite replay value. The art style is lovely, it's very polished and well thought out, and I really enjoyed it so far. Yes, there is a long way to go, but if the developers can keep up these standards, I'd say we'll be looking at a potential Indie Game of the Year candidate for 2021. So definitely a game to keep your eye on, and if you enjoyed games like Hollow Knight, Salt and Sanctuary or other Metroidvania type games, you should definitely consider giving this one a go. Okay, so no scoring at this point as it's just an early access preview, but I'd say, yeah, very promising. I liked it, I enjoyed it. It wasn't like one of those games where I review or preview, I'm like, oh god, am I ever going to get through this? It's definitely good fun, definitely satisfying and something to bookmark for later in the year. Okay, there you go, that was the preview. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I'll be returning with a full review for the game when it's released later in the year, but for now, this is Photography Gamer signing off. Thank you.